Sometimes the most ordinary moments become the ones that haunt us for the rest of our lives. A missed call, a forgotten text, a delayed response. Small choices we don't think twice about. But what if that one call you didn't answer turned out to be the last chance you had to hear the voice of someone you loved? Tonight's story is about a daughter and the father whose final message left her with questions she may never be able to answer. It was a rainy Thursday evening in Lahore, the kind of evening where traffic feels heavier, the streets shine with scattered reflections of neon lights, and the sound of rain tapping against windows makes homes feel quieter than usual. Sarah sat at her study desk, laptop open, but her mind far away. She had an assignment deadline for work, but instead of typing, she was scrolling endlessly through her phone. Her father, Imran, had called her earlier in the afternoon, but she hadn't picked up. She thought she'd call him back later. Her father was the kind of man who called often, sometimes just to ask what she had eaten or if she needed anything. At times, Sarah found it a little overbearing. She loved him deeply, but she also felt he worried too much. "Abba, I'm not a little girl anymore," she would tease him. That Thursday, when his name flashed on the screen, she was in the middle of a conversation with a colleague. She silenced the phone. "I'll call him back after this meeting," she thought. But the meeting stretched on. Then dinner plans came up, and by the time Sarah returned home, her phone had 2 missed calls and a voicemail. She didn't check it immediately. She was tired. She told herself, "Tomorrow. I'll call him tomorrow." At 11:47 p.m., Sarah's phone rang again. This time, it wasn't her father. It was her cousin, Ali. His voice trembled as he spoke. "Sarah, something happened. Uncle, he collapsed. We're at the hospital. You need to come." The words froze her. Her chest tightened as if the walls around her had collapsed. She grabbed her car keys with shaking hands, barely locking the door behind her, and drove through the rain-soaked streets, every second stretching into eternity. When she arrived, the fluorescent lights of the hospital corridor felt too bright, too cold. Relatives stood silently outside the emergency ward, their faces pale, their eyes avoiding hers. And then she saw the doctor emerge. "I'm sorry," the doctor said softly. "We did everything we could." Her father was gone. Her chest tightened as if the walls around her had collapsed. She rushed into the room where he lay, covered in a white sheet. His face looked calm, as if he had simply gone to sleep. She grabbed his hand, still warm, and whispered through broken sobs, "Abba, I'm here. I'm sorry. I should have picked up." That night, as the house filled with mourners and relatives, Sarah sat alone in her room, numb, unable to process the finality of it all. She held her phone in her hand, scrolling mindlessly, until she saw it. The voicemail. Her heart pounded. Her father's last message, the very last words he had tried to say to her. With trembling fingers, she pressed play. "Bitta, it's Abba. I just wanted to tell you. Listen, something I needed to say. Please call me back when you get this, okay? The message cut off. The line had disconnected. Sarah's breath hitched. That was it. His last call. A sentence left incomplete. Words forever hanging in silence. "I love..." What had he been about to say? He knew it, of course, what he meant. He had always said it. "I love you, Bitta." But hearing the abrupt end felt like an unfinished story, a wound without closure. The next few days passed in a blur of condolences, funeral prayers, and the endless rituals of loss. People told her to be strong, that time would heal, that her father had lived a good life. But at night, when the house was quiet, Sarah replayed that voicemail over and over again. She remembered every time she had silenced his calls, every time she said, "Later, Abba, I'm busy." Every time she thought she had all the time in the world. Her brother tried to comfort her. "Sarah, don't torture yourself. He knew you loved him. You don't need to carry this guilt." But Sarah whispered back, "I should have answered. Just once more. He was trying to tell me something. What if it was important?" Her mother, grief-stricken and silent, would sit in the corner with her prayer beads, murmuring verses, tears slipping silently down her cheeks. The house felt emptier, as if the walls themselves missed his voice. A week later, Sarah gathered the courage to enter her father's study. The room smelled faintly of his cologne and old books. His glasses were still resting on the side table, a newspaper folded beside them. On the desk, she found a sealed envelope with her name written on it. Her hands trembled as she tore it open. Inside was a letter. "My dear Sarah, I know you are busy and life pulls you in many directions, but I want you to always remember that no matter how far you go, you will always be my little girl. I may not always be here, but my love for you will never end. Take care of your mother and take care of yourself. That's all I could ever ask for. Love, Abba." Tears blurred the words as she clutched the letter to her chest. Maybe this was what he had been trying to tell me that day. Maybe his heart had known time was short. Months passed. The pain didn't vanish, but it changed shape. Sarah stopped replaying the voicemail every night. Instead, she kept it saved, like a treasure. She realized that love isn't always about the words left unsaid, but about the life that was lived, the moments shared, and the countless times he had already told her he loved her. One evening, as she walked past her father's favorite park, she sat on a bench and whispered into the air, "I love you too, Abba, always." The wind rustled the trees, and for a fleeting second, she felt as though he was right there beside her. Life doesn't give us warnings. We never know which hug, which smile, or which phone call will be the last. In our busy lives, we take time for granted, assuming tomorrow will always come. But sometimes, it doesn't. If there's someone you've been meaning to call, someone you've been putting off, call them now. Don't wait, because one day that chance might not come back, and the silence of an unfinished goodbye is a weight no one should have to carry.